Hello, Namaste. Welcome to Dean's Diary. In this edition, I want to answer these questions that I've been having about my 3-day water fast. People have wanted to know, how did I get into it? How did I prepare for it? What did I experience during this 3-day water fast? So that's really what I want to cover today. And my voice keeps going when I'm doing these videos, so I'm going to be sipping water constantly. All right. Okay, so the first issue that I had to resolve when trying to do a long water fast was that every time I would miss a meal, I would get really bad headaches, or I'd get dizzy. And that didn't really make me the perfect candidate for a 3-day water fast. So in order to try and get around that, the first thing I did was I started to make sure that I didn't eat dinner after 8. After 8, I would just drink water. And then I would eat breakfast at 8 o'clock the next day. So that meant that I was fasting 12 hours every day, or 12 hours every night. So that got my body slightly used to doing 12-hour fasts. And then my idea was I'm just going to extend that bit by bit. So I started eating breakfast slightly later each day. So I'd have apples for breakfast. So I'd start eating breakfast at 9, and I'd start eating at 10, and then 11. And then eventually I just dropped breakfast altogether. So I was just eating lunch and dinner. So the fast was getting longer and longer every day. And from there, I then started to eat my dinner slightly earlier and started to eat slightly less for dinner. Sorry, I have to have another sip of water. Right. So what happened then eventually was I got to the point where I was only eating lunch. So I think that's called OMAD, 1 meal a day. So I was just eating a large lunch every day, and that was it. And then over a period of about 2 weeks, my lunch actually got smaller and smaller. My body got used to it. And then I thought, okay, my body's only able to do this now because it's learned to burn fat. Because up until that point, my body didn't seem to recognize that the fat on me can actually be used as food. It seemed to think of it as just something decorative. So that was the point where I felt that it was starting to recognize that, yeah, fat's a source of energy. We could actually use that. So I felt then, okay, I'm ready now. I'm going to start doing my water fast. So the first thing that I had to bear in mind was I'd read that if you drink a lot of water, that will stop the headaches. So I thought I'm definitely going to drink water. So I carried a bottle around with me. That's a 1-litre bottle. And I was just sipping that constantly for the first day, making sure that I drank as much water as possible. And also, I'd wean myself off caffeine beforehand, because I know when I come off caffeine for a while, that also gives me quite nasty headaches. So I took myself off caffeine slowly before I did the fast. All right, more water. All right, so then the first day I started fasting, I was just drinking tap water, nothing else, just drinking it constantly, carrying water around with me. And then at some point during the day, my body realized there was no food. And it seemed to think that a famine had broken out, and I went into this full survival mode. So I had all this adrenaline flowing through me. My concentration got really sharp. I felt really driven, really motivated. Oh, it was fantastic. I never felt like that. So I felt motivated, driven, I had tons of energy, and I really enjoyed the fact that I didn't have to eat, because it gave me all this extra time. I didn't have to think about food, didn't have to prepare any food, didn't have to spend time eating food, didn't have to use up energy digesting food. So I just felt like suddenly the day was much longer, and I had so much energy to spend as well. And that was all great until it came to the evening, when I suddenly realized the adrenaline was going to stop me sleeping. So I went through the whole night without any sleep, feeling full of energy. And then the next day came, and it was the same. I just had energy and adrenaline, and I just kept going through the second day. I just kept drinking water again all day, going through about 4 or 5 liters of water each day. Went through the whole second day, and then I managed to sleep, I think maybe about 3 or 4 hours in the second day. Then in the third day, it was finally in the third day my body started to calm down a bit. It started to realize how much fat there is on me. It was like somebody was just trying to make it day by day, paying bill by bill. It suddenly realized, hang on, I've got about 10 million in my bank account. And that's the way my body was. It suddenly realized, hang on, there's tons of fat here. You know, we could keep going for 6 months if we had to. And then it calmed down suddenly. It was suddenly, oh, right, this is not so urgent. And then I completed the third day of the water fast, and it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. And then I stopped there because so many sources I've read said, limit yourself to 3 days. Some of them were saying you might lose muscle mass after 3 days. So I thought, okay, I'll just stop at 3 days because I felt like I could have gone on for a week or more if I wanted to. So I was really into it, but I stopped at 3 days. And then I decided from there that I would start doing 2-day water fasts every week. Speaking of water. Right, so I started doing Thursdays and Fridays. I would just drink water, nothing else, every week. And I kept doing that for about a month. It was about a month or two I did that every Thursday and Friday, just water. But I found as time went on, it was taking willpower for me to do it. And I eventually just ground me down. I thought, it's not realistic. I can't do this every week. So I then switched to actually fasting once a month. And what I do now, I do a fast called the fasting mimicking diet, which is, it involves eating a small amounts of food, and it lasts 5 days. And the author, the Walter Longo, who came up with it, he insists it's just as good, if not better, than water fasting. So I'm testing that at the moment. But I am enjoying that, and that's a 5-day fast once a month, and that suits me quite well, because it just means I only have to exert a bit of willpower once a month to do it. So I'll cover that diet and that fasting mimicking diet in another video later. In the next video, I want to cover all the benefits of fasting, because if you're not really familiar with the science behind it, it sounds like a crazy thing to do. It sounds like you're giving yourself some kind of eating disorder. So I want to cover that in the next video. But hopefully there's something in this video you found useful. Hopefully it'll help you if you're preparing to do a 3-day water fast. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, everything else. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye. Namaste.